I'm just hoping that this video will help somebody. I wish there was more content like this when I was going through it. There's a lot of questions and there's a lot going on during labour, so I'll go into these points now. What actually helped me looking back from my first birth, and then what did I do for my second labour. This video applies to all those people. It's not just for people who have gone through like an emergency trauma situation. That's some notes here, so we get straight into it. I'm just hoping that this video will help somebody. I wish there was more content like this when I was going through it, about how everybody perceives trauma differently, that two people could be in the same, God forbid, accident or any bad thing that happens to them, but they perceive it differently, and one person feels like they're struggling with trauma and certain emotions and the other person is fine. So it's very subjective, it's very personal. So this video is for anybody who felt like you don't even have to have had like an emergency situation or a horrific, very dramatic birth. It can be small, kind of niggly things. It can be the overwhelm of a first time birth, or even just the intensity of a natural labour as well, or even if you had all the help and pain medication and everything, but you still felt that after childbirth it was just a big shock to the system. So research into like conditions like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and some of the symptoms of that, and how it can be very mild and very extreme as well. A lot of it is perception. So if you felt like you were left alone to deal with the emotions after the event, or it can be, there's PTSD, which is like an accumulation of small little things. Like just processing emotion basically. It doesn't always have to be one big accident or one like childbirth, or one, it can be an ongoing build up of certain things. So just being mindful and be really understanding of other people's, everybody's experience is unique. My first daughter, I had a natural birth, no pain medication. So because I was a first time mom, it was just so intense and it was so emotionally overwhelming. It was very intense. And then afterwards, really subtle, really small, like you wouldn't have noticed, like obviously I bonded with my daughter and I was getting used to motherhood, but it was things like I felt a lot of tension in my body. I felt I had like episiotomy, so I had tension with that, very unable to talk about the experience, very hypersensitive afterwards to any images like of birth, or even photos of my own labour, very newborn. That eventually, now I can look back at those pictures and remember fondly, and like it's a positive, it's a good, amazing experience, and you're so blessed and so grateful to have like a healthy baby. But yeah, this is how some of the trauma came out before I even realised that it actually was trauma. Like a lot of it was, it's just part of postnatal depression. No, I think there was actually like a lot of birth trauma there. So I went to counselling for postnatal, but I think it's all combined. I think positive birth experience. I have another video all about how my second daughter was a lot more positive birth experience. Just I think from being able to advocate for myself, or being able to just being second time. So yeah, so I speak all about like positive birth experience in that video, and how to create that, and tips for you guys as well if you get value from that. Hop on over to that video after this one. If you feel like you'd like to change things around for your subsequent childbirth and what helped. So yeah, I had a lot of like unease and anger, and it wasn't just all postnatal, I think, or the adjustment to motherhood. I think a lot of it was literally actual trauma from the birth. It was just fast and intense from start to finish, like 5 hours. It was very quick, which again, that added to the trauma because everybody was like, oh, it's great, it's quick, it's over and done with. But too quick and too intense is really hard to manage, and even as the first time, I made no sense of control in labour. I don't think I did enough research personally, like what stages of labour and what was going to happen. If you're like, yes, ignorance is bliss, but sometimes I do think knowledge is power. So you choose what you prefer, ignorance is bliss, or if you do go down the route of educating yourself. And knowledge is so much out there, like doulas and midwives. There's so many videos out there to support that process. So I just described how things actually felt, like seeing photos or seeing the actually felt tension in my body. I was unable to talk about, very hypersensitive to images or anything. People talking about labour would make me clench up and tense up, and I had a lot of like unease and anger, not towards my child but towards like just unidentified, like where was all this coming from, and really repulsed. I was really like, if I saw a picture of a woman in labour, it was like actual wanting to almost vomit. It was such a repulsion, such a strong reaction. Like that definitely was something that was not a normal, like, you know, you go, oh, childbirth, yeah, it's intense, but you have your baby at the end of it, and it's move past it. I couldn't move past it. It was like holding on to that memory and replaying it. So that's what the trauma looked like for me, even though in general it was a natural labour and it was quick. But I think that compounded the effect of me feeling guilty that I shouldn't be feeling I have a healthy baby, I should be grateful, I should be this, should. All this like guilt. It's like, no, trauma is perceived personally by everybody differently. So I really do recommend doing like a birth reflection, even immediately after labour. Like if you can, just keep talk about it. Going to these points now. What actually helped me? Looking back from my first birth, and then what did I do for my second labour that was different, and what could help you? So you can definitely get past this. I can now look at those pictures, I can now look at a video, I can actually like watch a vlog of like somebody giving live, like birth, natural labour. I can watch all those things now and actually like be amazed and be like really happy to watch it. So what actually happened? The main thing was my mindset, was reframing. So looking at trauma as a perspective, that, like I said, two people experiencing the same thing, and one person mightn't get anything from it. So what is that person looking at? So for example, if you were rushed into an emergency C-section, but the doctor explained everything to you, and every step was explained and why it was going to happen, and you had your birth partner with you, and afterwards you felt supported and you could take lessons from it, and even though that's a very like intense and what you would describe as a traumatic event, you came away from that with, like, you were able to process it and move forward. So reframing is like knowing that trauma is a perspective, that you could reframe the situation like I did, like actually realizing that your timeline may be distorted. So ask for your hospital notes, ask to speak to the people who were in the living room with you, speak to your birth partner about it. What actually happened here? I was zoned out a bit at that event, like gently and slowly, like talking about it. this is my next tip as well. Talking about it, like the courage to ask other people about their experience, and you'd be so surprised how like you hear their birth stories and they're like, they can make a joke or laugh about a certain part of it and go, oh, this is ridiculous of the drama, and like you hear that, and it's like that connection with other people, that sisterhood, especially if you ask other women. And if you have the courage to ask, like, people are so amazing, people love that invite, they will actually love to talk about it as well. It's, I don't know if women talk enough. I think we just don't want to scare other women or put ideas in their mind. It's something that is actually quite personal, that you can't be telling somebody, oh, this is how you have to labour. I don't think that's ethical in my mind, but can talk about your actual birth experience and do connect with other people and talk about it. You'd be so surprised what you hear, and then you hear like, oh, like, not to compare, but mine wasn't like that, or you just hear there. It's very helpful is what I'm saying. And keep talking about like your actual birth story. I think even straight away, like, retell it, because your memory can be very clouded. I have actual like even when my first I had like, I'd ask people and they'd be like, no, that's not what happened. Like, it's like my memory like jumped in and tried to fill in gaps, and it neutralizes it. The more you talk about it, neutralizes it. You're retelling the story. I feel like it takes the emotion out of it. Careful, you don't relive it. You don't want to focus on those really traumatic parts. I think it's a rabbit hole as well, that you're constantly re-traumatizing your body by retelling like your nervous system and putting your mind back in that place. What I'm trying to say is talk and connect to others about birth experiences in general, and then make sure that immediately after labour that you have a clear understanding of the actual, why was that procedure done, your notes, your timeline, and people who were present and other people who were there, if other people were there. Not to relive the traumatic parts and focus on them, but to be aware to like reframe the situation, talk to neutralize it if that helps. Try it. Prevention is better than cure. I went in a very like naive, I feel like it's humble yourself and learn and prepare. That's what I did for the second one. My mindset was so good going in to the labour for the second one. I did a lot of I literally studied what stage of labour is going to happen, what's next, what's transition. Oh, if I only knew the science behind the transition phase, I think I would have been okay for my first labour, because if that was explained to me in a way that I could relate, I think if I did a bit more, do like hypnobirthing classes, or do more antenatal classes that they do offer in the hospital. I did a few, but I think I just needed to hear it from maybe another person, and which I did after, and I was like, oh, that's a normal reaction. So like transition is the phase after your contractions, just before you're about to push, and you get this surge of adrenaline, but it's like nothing I'd ever experienced. I don't know if sometimes athletes, they say, have had that they can manage that sensation, but I felt like, I just remember this is like too much. I just wanted it to stop. On my second labour, when I felt that way, I was like, oh, this is an adrenaline rush. This means I'm about to push, which means I'm so far in the labour process. The contractions are done. It's always like such a good signal. So see, if you know the science and the biology behind it, it can be such a positive thing. Do videos. YouTube's amazing. Books, classes, how to breathe, or just what your options are. And number 4, my next tip is birth reflections. So you can ask your health care provider for clinical notes if there's anything like procedure you were unsure of, or they administered an injection. Like, you can get an injection for the placenta to be delivered quicker afterwards, but it's like very intense. It's like you're just giving birth and then there's more contractions with this injection. So if you don't want that, There's a lot of questions and there's a lot going on during labour, so if you're unsure about anything, you have the right to ask for clinical notes and ask why each procedure is done, or you can research and know these things going in, so you're not going in blind or going in expecting an epidural and saying, right, I'm getting the epidural, but you're really far dilated and it's actually dangerous now to administer the epidural. Like, do you know that? Or do you know the side effects of the epidural? Do you know that they're gonna put a catheter in? Do you know that you can't get up out of the bed after for a while, and things like that, and like the pros and cons of it? If you're happy with that and you don't mind, you're just like, no, I don't manage pain well, I don't manage all that intense sensation and muscles, and nope, I just give me the epidural and be done. Then do you know the process and what's going to happen, or do you just not want to know? That's fine. But you can ask, you can talk to like support groups, or I wasn't that good now, honestly, afterwards of going to like breastfeeding clubs, or like I did a couple of like mother and toddler classes, but sometimes mothers have other kids they're rushing off after, or it's a lot to like just come out with to a stranger. How was your labour? But I think you just need to be brave and ask and gently bring up the topic, and it can help. And do try reflect on your birth after, and then embracing motherhood. I have videos on this as well, that it's literally like adolescence. It's like a whole phase in your life. I think people just expect us to switch and be like, here's your baby, you know how to be a mother. No, it can take a couple of years to get into it, grow into it. Like, you give teenagers time to adjust to become adults, don't you? So why are we so harsh on women? We expect them to know everything when they've just been through physically labour, and then you want us to learn all these new skills. Like, our brain is not working. Mine wasn't, at least. So some people are really well prepared, they really plan their baby, and they're really excited for it, and they might have done a lot more classes. But I do feel like a lot of times new mothers are thrown in the deep end. Here's a nappy. There's nothing like your own child, looking after your own child, and that sense of responsibility, and the constant they're always in your presence, and always that you don't have your personal time as much, that you really have to carve that out more. So what I'm saying is, like, allow yourself some grace to grow into motherhood, and that people have been birthing for centuries. It's all been done before. There's nothing that you went through in labour that hasn't been done, or that some other woman hasn't gone through already. And learning to advocate for yourself and speak up, and learn to give yourself grace, that you're also, especially if it's your first becoming a mother, and no two birth experiences are the same, even if it's your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever child, that you can still experience that trauma and not be happy with that experience, and that's okay. It's for you to digest. So that's my point there. Give yourself some grace to grow into it, especially if you're a first time mother. And my next tip is to get the physical trauma out. Like, our cells have memory. I've seen this over and over again in my years of doing like massage and spa treatments and beauty treatments. The amount of people who would have really tense shoulders or a certain spot, and they did, no matter how many massages they get, that's their like weak area, or their posture is affected. Let's all sit up straight. So the physical trauma holds itself in the cells, like emotions hold themselves in the cells. That what I'm trying to say about the whiplash. So people be in a car accident, get whiplash, and they're coming for a massage years later, and they're like, oh yeah, 5-6 years ago I was in a car accident, and that's that shoulder. So can you see like how much physical trauma can be stored in the body? So I think initially after labour, when you're ready, when you're feeling up to it, walking really helps. Really long walks, meditative walks, just walks physically for you to start gently loosening out your body. Treatments like Reiki, I've all videos about this as well, so you can look them up, what treatments are good for that. Swimming, all the natural, like get back out into nature, sunshine. There's things called spiritual bath, so sometimes they recommend Epsom baths for like healing the perineum area, but there's also, you can research this on YouTube as well, the spiritual bath is like a bath with an intention. So this is very holistic medicine now, if you're into that. Massage and acupuncture would be a good one. That'd be more like moving energy around the body, and there's a bit more science, like 5,000 years of ancient medicine. Don't turn your nose up at that. There is a treatment I heard about for severe trauma, I'm not sure, it's like rapid eye movement or something. Not sure about that. Never had that. I just know there's more extreme treatments like that, but I don't know about, like, I think you have to relive it and reframe it, and like you wouldn't want to I'm not sure about that one. Hypnosis could be another one, or just meditation. But I think none of these points that I mentioned in isolation are like profound. It's like, just do that and you're going to be fine, and you're going to be able to let everything go. No, I think a combination of the few, and then like trial and error, and just asking other people for ideas of what they said that's helped. But a lot of it is you don't feel like you have a lot of time at the start, so you have to carve that time out and put yourself first, because it's important for you not to be carrying that with you, and to embrace your new role as a mother and be focusing on that. You don't want to have this cloud over you. And then my last point definitely is time. A lot of time, and forgive yourself. If you knew better, you would do better. When you have better knowledge, you do better and make better decisions. And I felt a lot of anger for some reason, but realizing that the emotion of anger is actually a lot of fear, and it was that sensation of being helpless and not having that empowered mindset. That like really working on your mindset helps. And what I found as well over time is like park it sometimes and focus on your child. Do it in sections, do it in parts. Give your body a good year to feel back to, like 3 months. After 3 months you feel somewhat okay, but like if after a year, like if it took a long time for me to even feel like myself again, your body has changed. Like your shoulders get broader, your hips get broader, like your muscle elasticity isn't the same. So go back to basics, focus on your health and nourishing your body. Don't look for perfection. It's more at this stage self-care, and time really helps, and just accept it. Leave your system, and it does, and you don't have to always, just know that you won't always have to carry it with you, that you can process it, and that there is ways to do that, like I spoke about. So leave some comments down below, help some other women. If you've watched this video and you've gotten some value from it, please let me know which one. I can even expand on that or do more research on that area. So write that in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all are embracing motherhood and enjoying it. That's the true meaning of sisterhood. Share the wisdom, and that's how we will feel empowered. And that's the message for the channel I want to cover. Let me know if you want me to go into more detail, and until next time,